What's poppin', man? It's your boy Prince Angeles, and you already know, man, I'm back with another one. Welcome to another episode of Off Prairie. We off Prairie. You know what I'm saying? I got another special guest in the house, man. My guy Glasses Malone, G Malone, Glasses Loc, all that. You know what I mean? Um, and we're gonna get into some things. We're gonna discuss some topics. We're gonna get into, a little bit of his life, his story, you know what I mean? What made him get into music. Um, we're gonna dig a little bit, you feel me? But yeah, man, we got my guy Glasses in the building. You feel me? Let me bring him up. What's up, Brody?
What's the deal, dog? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you clear.
Okay.
What's up, man?
Tell me
How
something.
you?
Hold on. Let me get all set up. I only came out. This is my CD cover. I only came out because it was you, fool. Like I
Oh
wasn't even
man,
tripping. So
for,
I was like, yeah, I got you, my nigga. Hold on.
for sure.
Hold on.
Yes, get it. My
My
guy, though.
dog, what's the deal?
Happy birthday, first and
Thank you,
foremost.
my boy. Thank you.
You feel me? Bro getting younger.
Feel me? 45 on you niggas.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
Well, how you feeling, man? What's good with you? What you got going on?
Mm.
Got the water popping. I got mine too. You
Yeah,
feel
yeah. I
me?
gotta do
Got
the
it.
whole gallon though.
That's what's up.
Really like pretty informed, pretty optimistic, almost possessed.
Okay.
Um, I lost like 65 pounds, something like that.
Oh man,
Um,
congrats, bro. I can see it too, low key.
yeah, never felt as informed and focused as I do, to be honest.
That's what's up.
Never felt as informed and as focused as I do right now.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
okay, for those who don't know, bro, I like what I do at this show. I like to kind of dig a little bit, you know what I mean, into the lives of people, that I have on the show. You feel
mhm.
me? You've been a public figure for a while now. People know what's up with you. But for those who don't know, bro, like where you from? Where did you grow up? You know, and how was that for you growing up?
So I'm from 7th Street, Watch Crip.
Okay.
Gang and Watts. I grew up in Compton and Watts, though. You know what I mean? My mom and my dad split up when I was hella young. My dad bought some property in Watts on 117th Street. My mom stayed in the Richland Farms in Compton. So that kind of became my experience, you know what I mean, throughout my life. Um, for the most part, it was fun. It was a ton of fun. There are some traumatic experiences, but for the most part, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah. What made you what would you say made you walk the lines of game banging? Like go that route?
You know, it's funny selling dope. You know what I mean? My
Okay.
mom, my mom got caught up in the feds. Um, trying to make a better life for me and my little brother. And feds came and took her house. You know, those Thursdays to Mondays and Watts turned into every day. Um, at $5 a day for lunch, you know what I mean, turned into $1 because it was so many kids at my dad's
Yeah.
house. You know what I mean? My dad and my mom over there, they have a huge family. So the opportunity to make money, you know what I mean? Really, nobody coerced me. You know what I mean? I coerced the situation, like, yo, I'm finna make some money to,
Yeah.
eat. And ran into some people I've been knowing since I was a kid. They gave me an opportunity that I demanded, that I coerced. You know what I mean? Shout out to my homeboys, you know who they are. But as I started making money, naturally you in the street more. You hanging out more. You going to the pink store more, in the PJs, and more people seeing you with your homeboys and your friends. And you really already from a gang at that point. You know what I mean? Now, like I'm already committing crimes with my friends. And really they more to me, they wanted me to be a part of it more than I cared about being a part of it. But in real life, I think it's when you decide to dedicate yourself to that type of street life, you know what I mean, selling drugs or anything, it's best for you to, to have people teach you. And that's pretty much how my banking started. I got people who wanted to teach me. They wanted to teach me how to survive in the streets. And
Yeah.
that's how it started, and that's how it's been.
That's what's up, man. Let me ask you this. What is the idea of like community? Like what does that mean to you? Like when you hear the word community, you know what I mean? What is your what is your concept of that? And do you believe that that's what's missing in our neighborhoods today?
Um, Community is a bunch of people who live, you know, or I don't even know if live because I can honestly say I know that thought has evolved into a bunch of people who kind of exist in the same place,
Yeah.
um, face some of the same obstacles. You
Okay.
know, they speak a certain way. It's like it's the breeding ground for culture. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's the breeding ground for culture. You add community and poverty, so it's a bunch of people who, again, exist in close proximity often. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they cuisine, like I said, it's a breeding ground for culture. They begin to speak the same way, eat the same type of stuff. They begin to dress the same way. Things of success standard become pretty standard in that community, not for every last person, but in that group, it becomes the same ideas of success and a breeding ground for culture. What's missing today? I don't know if anything is missing today. Um, I think I definitely think social media has made the experience with human beings less quality. I mean, it's
Okay.
amplified the opportunity to build with more humans, but it has diminished the quality of existing with other people. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm.
can remember, rest in peace to my homeboy Moto. Shout out to my mom Renee. This was my father's wife. She's been raising me since I was a little kid, just as well as my mother. So I don't use the term step, but my mother Renee. I was playing outside with one of my friends. His name is Moto. Rest in peace, from the neighborhood, from 7th Street. And we might have been 8 or 9. This is way before I'm off the porch screwing up. But he was already like he's a year older than me. But he was a shorter kid. He was shorter than me. You know what I mean? But you could tell he was rough. You could tell, like,
Yeah.
he was already squabbling. He might already hustled already. And we talk about 9 and 10. Moto Psycho was something else, you know what I'm saying? But he was my friend, you know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that mattered. And
Yeah.
it was late. And she was calling me saying it's time to eat. And I remember she walked outside and seen me playing with Moto. And she's like, okay, Moto, you hungry? He's like, yeah, Miss Renee. So she invites me in, he eats, he leaves, we leave. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to her probably about 2 years later. Now I'm a little bit, I'm closer to a teen. And I was like, Mom, she's like, you really don't need to be hanging out with Moto. I'm like, I thought you liked Moto. She's like, I love Moto. But, his mom got a lot of stuff going on where he's out here by himself and he's going to have to do a lot to survive. And I was like, you knew that? She's like, yeah. She said, why do you think I feed him when I can?
Mm.
That's missing. That
Yeah.
understanding of the community, that understanding that she never had to explain to me, what Sue had going on, what his family had going on, and what he was going to have to do to eat. But she knew it. And it was never played with, it was never joked about. But it's the same thing that happened to me when I got in trouble and, I had to stay outside because I got caught doing some stuff I shouldn't. And Mrs. Jackson, who was like probably the matriarch of my community, you know what I mean, for my neighborhood, took me in and made sure I ate dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's missing, the quality of relationships where, talking to Pluck the other day, you remember my older homie Pluck, and
Yeah.
he was like, man, I watched you grow up. You was a little kid. And I was telling him I was watching the kids grow up, and the homies having a sneaker ball, for Christmas. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go, hang out with the homies, just laugh. And I was telling him
Mm.
it's so dope to watch some of these people I held as a baby, like my homegirl De'Ara, my homeboy Watch Boy.
Yeah.
Watch Boy is probably, you remember Son Troy? He's probably 29.
Yep.
And I held him as a baby, or De'Ara. I remember, her mom, when her mom was still just partying, my big homegirl was just partying and chilling. And then she had this baby. So a lot of my homeboys and homegirls, baby Jay was probably 2, just barely learned how to walk, 1 or 2 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing them and now seeing them as grown men with kids. You know what I'm saying? That quality experience where like, who people are, you know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
realize it ain't about the bandana or a street sign. So there's a lack of quality because of the convenience of how easy it is to build relationships with humans, but they're not full quality relationships. That's probably missing in the thought when it comes to community in my mind.
Why do you think it exists that way? Do you think it's kind of like I can remember like growing up, um, and like you couldn't really help where you live, right? So it's like the black people was like more so towards the east side. You know what I mean? You had a few families, like black families that had a little money, they moved to the west side, things like that or whatever. But like I had to talk to my neighbors. I had to make friends with, you know what I mean? Like the kids that was around in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Because that's where I lived. But
Sure.
nowadays it's kind of like you got you got black people that's from Los Angeles. We scattered all over. You know what I mean? Like you got people Lancaster, Palmdale, you know what I mean? Santa Clarita area, Riverside, like we all over the place. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you think that kind of contributes to that part missing? You know what I mean? Like we're not just in our neighborhoods like we used to, along with having social media and things like that, you know?
No, because community, still existed. Remember like at my dad's house, my next door neighbor, who just told me happy birthday on Instagram, shout out to Mondo, right? Uh, uh, um, Mondo is like, he's a Mexican person. And then Santos, who lives to the left of my pops, he's Salvadorian.
Okay.
So, again, you didn't have like right now I watch kids play the video game and that's how they socialize. They don't go to the park and hoop
Okay.
as often.
Yeah. Right.
We didn't, I think the natural effort for humans is to avoid loneliness. Like we know we here to connect with other people. Like, so I think for the most part, especially black people, what I mean? We want to
Yeah.
connect with other humans. So I think you didn't have a choice but to walk outside your house to connect. And now there's a convenience that allows you to connect, through video games, through social media, where you don't have to go
Yeah.
anywhere to start to connect with other humans. But I think the connection is just lower quality. So I don't
Mm.
think we talk to each other because we were black. I think we talk and we were black. But I think we would talk to a Mexican neighbor, a white
Yeah.
neighbor, an Asian neighbor, all the
Whoever.
same if we didn't have the convenience of this lower quality connection through social media and through video games where you online playing the game and you feel like you're building a relationship there. Somebody wished me happy birthday
Yeah.
today and I never met them, so I couldn't say I'm glad I met you, but I know we've been building different ideas. A guy I've never met through social media passed away. They having his funeral. Shout out to Twine Mack from Milwaukee. He's like a hip hop legend out of Milwaukee, and we've been building, and we were
Yeah.
supposed to meet, and we didn't. And I really never got a chance to meet him. But we
Yeah.
talked, 40 million times, talking about plans. Touring together. He was coming out here in January. He was gonna get in the studio, and so I think there has to be an effort with humans to really develop quality relationships, not just nurture false
Mm.
ones. You know what I mean? Like not just keep talking online, but eventually to meet people and build with them to really see how we could benefit each other's life. So I think it's the convenience, just like why most people
Yeah.
in America is out of shape, the convenience of fast food. You know, it's not
The
like
easy.
it's
Yeah. The
too
easiest way.
too convenience. And I think that's the killer of when it comes to the quality of life. Back to that point.
That's a great point, bro. I mean, I would almost say like it's not even really connecting. In some form, it is. You know, I got people on my social media I've been talking to 10 years,
Uh,
10 plus years, and it felt like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm like that, but then you realize, like, damn, I ain't never even met this person. You feel me? This person checking on me,
Con,
sending me
I will
messages.
not, and I will not let that happen. Like I have made that. Like if we communicate on social media too much, bro, I'm going to meet you.
I
Like let's
feel
get
that.
it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to. We're not going to be building this relationship, and I don't intend to develop it into a quality full effort. You know what I mean? Like if
Right,
we're going to communicate in that regards. So I think humans just have to get past convenience. Like even the weight I lost is more about I just stopped taking the convenient route of food. Like I wasn't eating
right,
crazy even then. Like I wasn't eating a bunch of chili cheese fries every day with pastrami. It could just be a regular burger meal. It's because it's fast and it's convenient. There are things to make it that fast and convenient, and those things don't help.
right.
Your health. So um, it's up to us as humans to push past. I think the convenience and get back to quality existing.
I feel that. Let me ask you this, bro. What made you, hmm, what made you pursue music? Like, what was it? What was that moment? What was that song? Who was that artist, that made you feel like, man, like, I want to do this. I could do this. You feel me?
You know what's funny? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I ain't never not been honest with you since we known each other. I don't think musicians should inspire musicians in hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop should always be about the culture. And the thing that I always felt like that I didn't belong is the exact reason I belong, right? Which is the experience, the cultural experience made me have to go to hip hop, right? Like I'm hustling every day, I'm selling sherm, I'm getting paid, but my mind caught up and now my conscience caught up. Like I didn't look at selling drugs so freely. It became more like I realized I was responsible for people who couldn't make better decisions for themselves. Like I always was
Okay.
proud of being a D-boy at that time because I felt excuse me, not even felt, but I prided myself on having the best quality product. If you was going to buy drugs, I was going to have the best quality. I wasn't going to try to rip you off. I'm not finna cut my water, no PCP with brake fluid. Now I'm gonna get the best cut. I'm gonna have the best product, and what I mean, you're gonna be proud of, you know what I mean? Because this is how I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I'm immature. I don't really, I don't drink and smoke, so I don't understand addiction at this time. So I'm thinking everybody making a choice.
Yeah.
And somebody came and bought Sharon for me pregnant. And that was the day where it was like, oh, this person can't be thinking that probably is unnatural to think like a mother would harm their child. Something is
Right.
wrong. That was the
Right.
first time I remember knowing something is wrong. Now it's like then you open your eyes and you see people, neglecting their kids or not being the best parents they could be because some substance, has a hold on them. That started to change for me. So my ramp up of making a bunch of money, like how I was doing well. It started to change. Now my conscience started to block blessings. You know what I mean? Things that I would do with hustling, they wasn't working as well
Yeah.
because now my conscience is like, yo, this ain't right. Something wrong with these people. They're not, this is not a functioning decision. This is a compromised decision. Like these chemicals have them compromised.
Yeah.
And I caught a bad case. I thought I was gonna go to prison for, and that was the first time I thought about being on parole. Like I wasn't scared of jail or prison. Like I knew I would thrive in those environments. Like I knew I was gonna be
Yeah.
fine. I could fight well. You know what I mean? I was a big guy. I was articulate. You know what I mean? I'd be fine. But
Yeah.
parole after getting out, that you know I was finna go to jail for pluck. You know what I mean? I had no problem going to walk no time off. Like I wasn't even worried about jail. The fear of other men, that never scared me. I'll be
Yeah.
fine because I was going to jail and I was fine. I go to prison and be fine. But thinking about what life is after parole, that's when it started hitting me. Like, I learned what parole was. Like,
Yeah.
going to jail is what we know as kids. But then when you grow up and you start meeting people, now you're meeting people on parole. My mother's on parole. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. You know what I mean? She can't go to certain things, but I know she's on parole. But when I was able to process what parole was as a, 23, 22 years old, it was like, oh no, this is like the jail is easy. This is the hard part,
Mm.
for me. And I had been taught all of that time to run a business. Shout out to my older homies. I mean, I can't say their name because the business they was running. Well, I mean, we passed that. So shout out to Tone, shout out to Plug, shout out to my older homies that taught me how to run my own business. Man,
Yeah.
to pick everybody that taught me how to run my own business. So I knew I could run a business. And I had start rapping as a therapy, like as a therapy, like just trying to keep my, I got great grades in English, all A's, AP English classes, AP English 4, even when I didn't need it. Like I could have took an elective as a senior. So I wanted to keep my language sharp, all the things I had learned through school sharp. So I started rapping, just playing around between therapy and keeping my vocabulary sharp.
Yeah.
And it just came together like, yo, I need to start a record label. Like, oh, Suge did it, oh, if Jay Prince did it, and I can't say they
Mm-hmm.
inspired me, but they made me realize like, oh, I could do it because these guys who came through the life, Easy E, like that were like me, guys who came from the streets, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
were able to do it. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a record label. So I was rapping with my brother, with K and my boy D. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a group. You know
That's
what I
what's up.
mean? And Pooh was a part of the group initially, and then he started managing because he didn't want to rap. And it was like we're supposed to be a group, but the goal was a record label.
Okay.
So what inspired me to get into hip hop was really the when my conscience caught up to my wit. And it was like, yo, I need
Okay.
another business. So a record label was my first goal. It wasn't even to be a rapper. I just could. I didn't know about being no rapper. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't all the things that make a rapper, I would have never had any idea. Or what makes hip hop hip hop. I wouldn't have had no idea. I thought of hip hop as songs and
Yeah.
a bunch of brothers from New York and different things. I didn't know about any of that. Like I just knew the music.
Yeah.
So it was more or less like a bridge to get me from one life to another life.
But did you say it like that from the jump? Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna use this. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went to Kiki Loco. I had drew the logo and went to Kiki like, yeah, I'm gonna start a record label.
Shout out
Mind you,
Kiki.
Kiki Loco, this is Kiki Loco from, True Blue, niggas off the street. So he's
Yeah.
like pretty much at underground legendary status at this point. And this is the guy that used to sell Sherm to everybody, even him sometimes. He like, you
Yeah.
gonna do like he couldn't even understand because he didn't know I had rapped at that point. He was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start a record label. Feel me? I'm gonna establish a LLC. You know how I think. I'm gonna establish a
Yeah.
LLC. You know what I mean? We got this little rap group. We get this going. Like I had already planned it. Like I had planned a PCP spot, like a Sherm
Yeah.
spot. So I remember he was like, this nigga crazy. I remember going to my older homies, like, yeah, I'm gonna start a record label. And they was looking like, how you just gonna start a record label? You're not even like into this. I'm like, that's like that don't matter. Like I know how to
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
how to take this skill set and make it work here.
Right.
And they just looked at me crazy, you know what I mean? But I knew I could do it. You know what I mean? It wasn't even I never even thought twice. I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be able to do it. Just like
What was
that.
it? What was the name of your first song? You remember?
Gangster shit.
Gangsta shit.
It was a beat. We got that gangster shit. Hey, what you selling? We got that gangster shit. Fuck telling. We got that gangster shit. Straight belling. Yeah. It was me,
I
Pooh,
think
and K.
Pooh.
Yes,
Pooh got
Pooh was
bars on
hard.
there.
And he was nice though. He was nice too.
Pooh
He was
was
looking
nice.
clean. Yeah, he was clean. He just hated his voice. But he was clean.
Ah,
Yeah, he was clean though.
wow,
Pooh was
that's what's up.
clean.
I
Uh,
think I met you around. It was right before 200
yeah, it had to
at the
be
Beats
right at
Don't Pop,
2004.
2004
Yeah.
or three.
Might have been
I think
three.
I was locked in with Pooh before.
Yeah, but I think I
Pooh.
met you in '04 because I hadn't did 200 yet. I didn't do 200 was the last song from White Lightning.
Okay. Because when I met Pooh, Pooh had he had a mixtape,
Crack
but it
mixtape.
wasn't white. Yeah, okay,
Crack
yeah.
mixtape. That
Crack
was all of
mixtape.
us. It was supposed to be the faction, right? It was my homeboy Guido, and he was made. That was his thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was just rapping on his thing. But
Yeah,
obviously, I had like one of the better hustle minds out of us all, so I knew how to hustle the music, and we started moving the music. But it was the faction, and it was called the Crack Mixtape. It was his thing.
damn, that's what's up.
That was the name of his movement, the faction.
Let me ask you this as a creative, like when you writing a record, do you know initially when you got one, or does it? Sometimes you
Sometimes,
got to work into it. You got to
sometimes,
create
sometimes.
it, and then sometimes it just comes out. Like,
Yeah.
do you know? Like, oh man,
No, Tupac Must Die knew. Like, I knew before the song was finished. That good took a lot more time.
okay.
Um,
Which process do you appreciate most?
creating, creating.
Like
But that
what I
changed. It
mean,
didn't used to be like it didn't used to. So creating it, that wasn't my process. My process was moving it was at first. That was my process. Like that
okay,
was my favorite part of it, moving the music. Um, Ever since I kind of got in the y'all bag with producing and arranging ideas, like now I'm just grateful at that creation. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
first part of it to the last part of it. And now I've made the business a creative force, and I've made how I'm going to market to a fans a creative process, backed by science, but very much creative. And so it makes the whole journey fulfilling. So it don't even matter.
yeah.
Weirdly now, it doesn't matter what happens on the other end. Like it don't matter if everybody understands it. Like I know what it is leaving out the barrel.
Mm,
But here's a
okay,
perfect example. Like it was an idea I was going to cut off of this project we was working on right now, off this 110 album with the homies. And like I just knew it wasn't coming out right. I was like, man, this ain't it was a dope story. It's called The Ballad
yeah,
of Willie Manchester. And it's
oh,
dope, but it's like, I'm like, this ain't coming out right. Like I'm gonna have to scrap it for this other song.
yeah.
And as I finished it up, all the way at the very end,
It came together.
I was like, it locked in. You know what I mean? What they say, like when you cook it right, it locked. Boom.
Yeah, yeah,
Feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
It was like 56 ounces off a brick. You feel me? And it's just all pure. It's just, I'm like, I played it. It was like, this shit is crap. I was like, damn. And it forced me to have to do a lot more with the release that we planning. But like it was at 99% before it locked. It didn't
But let
lock
me
before that.
let me ask you, how do you know? And I'm asking one creator to another. You know what I mean? Because I got my own process too. But how do you know when to keep going? You ever had those songs where it's like you
Yeah,
start them, it's cool, but it's just not. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Right now, I don't feel it like I should.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. Obviously, up until now, this is kind of the first project where it's like, let me finish everything.
Ah,
Like I'm not
okay.
even if I don't intend to use it, let's finish it. Like
Yeah,
we're at the
yeah.
time now where I got enough people around me where they need music. It's like, let me finish every idea. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, here's the ones for the albums. This is telling the stories that I want to tell. This is the play. This playlist is telling the story. So I know this is the music going on this playlist, but let me finish this music anyway.
Yeah.
So I've made it my business to finish every, mostly, if not all, every other, most songs. 90% of the songs, I'm gonna see them all the way through. Um,
I
but
like that.
like I said, ironically, I made that decision probably about 7 months ago. But like this is a prime example. Like this thing didn't lock. I'm whipping. It ain't locking. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
work ain't locking.
yeah.
It ain't coming together. The work's not locking. And it's like, damn, it's supposed to take 12 minutes to lock. I'm at 11. This shit ain't locked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something ain't right. And I get to 11:59 and it bow. And it's all hard, pure. You feel me? And then lock up. And it's like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
But
You gotta cook all the work.
you know what's interesting about that is that like that's just your perspective of your art in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to you, it might be like, man, it's not all the way locking. But then
Cause still
to the
thought it was work the whole time.
see, that's what I'm saying. And
Still was
that's
like,
the
man, this
weird part.
it still was
That's
like,
the
man, this work. And I'm like, this ain't right. Like, this is okay. You know what I mean? Like I was cool, but then I made a song that locked instantly. Like it wasn't even
okay.
finished, and you could see it was
Yeah,
coming back
yeah.
hard and great. You know what I mean? It was like shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna swap this song. He like, man, you tripping. Then he then still heard the song. He was like, oh yeah, this shit is crazy. He was like, I
I
don't know,
think
man. The other song, and shout out to Steel because like I kept whipping because of Steel. Like that's the only. I'm like, why
okay.
Steel making a big deal out of this? You know what I mean? But like I knew I was gonna finish it, but I didn't push it to the side. I was like, let me just finish. Let me finish at
Yeah.
11:59. It just locked, boom, and it came back like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this
Was
is
was
good
you
money,
always that way?
huh?
Like was you always that way when it came to like the creative?
Well,
Like
remember I couldn't produce, so I didn't know how to, because a lot of it is not just words and lyrics. See, for
right.
me, for you, it was always everything. Like you understood melody, harmony, you understood all of that way before I did. I didn't know nothing about that shit. For me, it was just say the dopest shit, make sure you got a hook that's quality, you know what I mean, get the point across. But now
Yeah.
controlling the music, like I'm not stuck on one side of making the work lock. You know what I mean? Like I
Okay.
could say what I need to say and then the hook, and then that's it. That's how it was for me until 2019. Well, 2015 to
Got
be
you.
fair.
Got you.
But after time, you know, you could manipulate other parts of what make a record a record. The music, that's what made it lock up. It was like, you know
Mm,
what I mean? Like pulling something back, you know, maybe taking the bass, you know, getting it to EQ it right, using the lead a little bit more, you know, figuring out how I spit, figuring out what thing to take it off, doing arrangements, pulling the melody, you know what I mean? Small
yeah.
things that make it have its own unique fingerprint. And then it just lock up. It just come back. Like, and it came back like
I
straight,
think
like top tier. Like,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, people here, they be like, this motherfucker is, and I'm like, wow.
I think what I was trying to ask you is like the Glasses Malone creating before versus the Glasses Malone that's creating today. And how the artist that's grown, how they know how to reach for that locking moment. You know what I mean? In the music, they know where to go. They know maybe if I added this, maybe if I took this out, maybe if we switched this up. I know like for myself, bro, like before it was like get the song, record the song, verse, hook, maybe a bridge, and then we done. Oh, I just finished this song today, right? Versus how I create today, it that song is not gonna be done today. Even if I laid all of the vocals, everything that it may need. You know what I mean? I may have to sit with it for some weeks. I may have to listen to it more. I may have ideas as I was creating it that I was going to add later on once the vocals are there or things like that. I wasn't that detailed before. You know what I mean? And sometimes you could just know, like how you were saying, you was telling Still, like, oh, nah, it's not ready. It's not ready. It's not locked yet. And he's like, nah, it's ready. But you knew as like being mature in your creativity that it wasn't
Sure.
fully what your idea, that how you
Mhm.
conveyed it in your mind. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And having the willingness to reach for that, because I think that's the difference between like a lazy artist and an okay artist, a good artist versus a great artist. A great artist is going to exhaust every single possibility in a record, and they know how to exhaust every single possibility in a record. They know what to
Right.
listen for. Their ears are trained to in a certain way to where they know what completion is. You know what I mean? Um, I think that's what I was trying to ask you, like kind of like was you doing that before?
No.
Like what at what point did that change for you? I know this personally because we've had these conversations.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, economically, that was the first time I noticed it. Right, is when my homeboy Lil J got out of prison. This is around 2011. My homeboy Scab get out of prison. I'm doing fine. You know what I mean? I'm driving Bentleys, G wagons. I'm living. I got prop. I'm doing my thing. I property. I'm doing my thing. He needed a job, and he needed a job that had a livable wage. You know, you talking about 2011. This is $60,000. Today is
Yeah,
probably a lot like $80,000. At that time, it's about $60,000. He needed about $5,000 a month. You know, he could have got a place that's 15, 1600, one bedroom, and had enough money.
yeah,
And when I realized I didn't make enough money once I paid taxes to hire him and then still be able to function at the level I'm functioning at, I knew I hadn't reached the pinnacle because at that time I'm around Lil Wayne, I'm around Stunner, I mean Birdman, I'm around everybody who has staffs of people that they hire. And I
yeah,
couldn't hire one guy, outside of the guys that I had, right? The head, the whoever else, you know what I mean? I didn't
yeah,
have anybody else. So I was like, oh shit, like I need to do better. Something is wrong. This
yeah,
ain't about me. You know what I mean? I'm not maximizing potential. And that was the first time I realized there was something that I didn't know.
yeah,
And as I fell down that rabbit hole of what a record was, you hear that term in the industry all the time. What a record is, you know. You hear hip hop so often, but you don't know what that means. You hear marketing so much, and you automatically correlate it to advertising.
yeah,
And once I started realizing that there were more science to these things, that's when it was like, oh, I need to get more involved. I can't just get a beat from somebody and just say some words and put a hook and hope that this is going to be the tailor-made suit it needs to be. Like, that's not impossible to go buy off the rack, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
and have a great fitting suit. It's just not going to happen more times than not. And for this business, for you to reach a level where you could hire a friend who got out of prison and make sure that they straight, you pretty much
yeah,
need a custom look every time you put a suit out. Every time you put out a song, it should have its own fingerprint. People should get the highest quality standard from you consistently. So that's what made me
mm,
get into every other part of it. And, you know, shout out to EP, you know what I mean, who is major for me and scoring everything that I do. Me understanding that my songs are more like films and I have to really lean on that. My
mm,
storytelling ability, having somebody around to score everything and finish it, and then being willing to sit in front of it and arrange it and make sure that it's the movie that I want to present to
mm,
anybody listening. You know what I'm saying? So you start off just, rapping, hoping for the best. And
yeah,
once you get into it, like you realize that you almost need to create an assembly line of like something that's fingerprinted and feels like you all the time.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's where records come. And then hip hop becomes cultural takes that only I can give. The closest that I can get to, like the closest I can get to, that's the only thing that only Glasses could do this. Like Tupac Must Die, only Glasses could do that.
okay,
Every time I nail those things and then I deliver on the record side, and then I deliver on the marketing side where I create a story around it that's fascinating and people feel value in having the conversation. When all of those, like right now, like I said, records, I've had records locked. Like I know a record's locking, I know what the work look like. Hip hop,
yeah,
I know when I start to really get into hip hop, like with a Tupac Must Die or a conversation about Drake not being hip hop, you know what I mean? And really understanding and how to articulate the thought. I know what that work looked like locking. Marketing, even with
mm,
Tupac Must Die, that was a marketing strategy that wouldn't allow me, all of the platforms wouldn't even allow me to spend money advertising, but it was still the biggest conversation in hip hop for a week. You know what I mean? When that
mm,
people still to this day that has stained their memory, that cultural, occurrence, that idea stained their memory. The marketing, I
yeah,
made it lock. You know what I mean? So now putting it all together and making the work
okay,
come back is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it started with Lil J when he got out of prison and I couldn't hire him. Like that 250 a year I wasn't making wasn't enough money to give him 60 after
yeah,
taxes.
wow, that's
That's
good,
the truth.
bro. I could actually see exactly everything that you were saying. You know what I mean? It's like um we've had a lot of conversations about that. You know what I mean? Now it's hard for me to even write a record without seeing the record being marketable.
That's
You know what I mean? Like
you
if I
told
can't
you.
attach it to something, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just falls flat for me. You
Yeah.
know, and then, and of course, just as a creative, we have records that we make for us sometimes.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like we just wanted to do this. Like
Yeah.
we appreciate it. You
Yeah.
feel me? Um, that's a little different, but like man, like I can't even make a record without thinking like, okay, then I could make content like this and I can blah blah blah. And you know what I mean? I can stretch it. It's a whole, you know, like I look at it like I was just telling somebody that the other day this. Um I worked at Target before, right? And I worked in stock. So like we used to get there like 4:30 in the morning. Truck comes, we unload the truck, we put them on the pallets, then we put them out to the floor. You know what I mean? The inventory comes, we bust it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking at music like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, I gotta have this record, boom, boom, all this group of records that do this, boom, boom, bust it down like that. You feel me? Like so I could be ahead of myself content wise. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you could take 30 songs and go crazy the whole year if you space it right.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I really appreciate about you, bro, is like you're that beacon of light in that way in this industry, in this game. You know what I mean? Like you're the one person that's gonna tell it exactly how it is. And you're not afraid to tell it to who needs to hear it. You know what I mean? Like I saw you on the podcast with Pun and AD, and you telling them like, nah, man, like you always have a vision of the end result of something. You know what I mean? Like where most people can only see things on the surface.
Sure.
You feel me? Like I remember the New West movement, and you was kind of like frontlining that, like and I want to talk a little bit about this as well. I was around that during that time as well. A lot of people don't understand the people, the artists that that are very successful today was around, you know, during that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't understand that you was the main person like pulling a lot of these people to the forefront. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I remember doing shows, like you doing shows or whatever, and you'll call so and so up, you know what I mean, and let them rock, you know, a part of verse of their song, or you'll call this artist up, you know what I mean? Like you was very instrumental in like really helping elevate what's going on the coast. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And the culture, of, you know, this West Coast hip hop. Um, what made you? Let me ask you this: what made you like? Did you know what you was doing, or was you just in the moment? You know what I mean? Like, did you really see like the importance of like West Coast culture and putting that on display and like making sure that we continue to follow that, or was it just something that you learned over time?
No, no,
Like
it
how
was
was it then?
gang banging. I was just gang banging.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
got
It
you.
was mm, like I already was very much like a passer as a player. If I was an NBA player, I'm a passer. I'm Magic Johnson. I'm a passer. That's
Okay,
who I am as a human being. And you know, watching Magic grew up in the '80s, like it made me really see a value in being a passer.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? Like making sure Cap get 30, you know, James get 26, Byron get 19, you know, Coop catch some loops, you know what I'm saying? Cooper loops.
yeah,
That verified who I was as a person to me. Hold on one second. Don't I got still keep calling me.
okay.
Big bro, I'm doing this thing with conflict right now. I'm almost done with it.
How much longer?
About 5 minutes. We on stream y'all right now. I got you on the mic so he can hear you.
What up, bro?
Let's go.
Okay.
All right, tell Kyle I said what up.
He hear you.
All right, later.
What up, bro?
So no, like that was like a securing who I was as a human already. So even coming fast forward as a gangbanger, it taught me how to do it unapologetically, and it taught me how to really realize it made me really realize that I didn't have to really, if you didn't believe in helping other people, like
Yeah.
I still could be, I could, we could fight. You know what I'm saying? I like the things that I needed to be secure in, that's what game banging. So even my mentality then was the same way. It was even worse because I had just really came through all of this. And
Yeah.
the New West was more like a reaction movement of like feeling alone, feeling no connection with. I would have not knew what hip hop was about if at that point, you know what I mean? Because there was
Yeah.
this missing connection between everybody you bought records from your whole life and connecting to you. Like there was nobody reaching out to teach,
Yeah.
and so New West became a reactory movement, like a reaction movement of like, damn, we on our own. So okay, if I gotta write the Bible of this shit, this is what it should look like. Look out for niggas. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like put your people on, show love, you know what I mean? Like fuck with it. Like this how we doing it. And as
Yeah.
you inherit, people into a movement that have, they come into the movement because they do see the love, they do see the care and concern for, and the desire for people to make it. They already have their gripes with the existing hierarchy, you know what I'm saying? And you
Yeah.
inherit
Yeah.
all of their problems,
Yeah.
so shout out to my homeboy, from West Covina Topic. He had a bad stint with Dub C where the business didn't go right. So like one of my favorite people in hip hop is Dub C, but
Yeah.
I inherited his problems. You know what I mean? So that immediately put me on the other side of Dub C. I'm signing Mac 10. I didn't know him and Cube had a problem at this time. So I inherit this. Dog, Bishop came up under Dog to some degree. Him
Yeah.
and Being, rest in peace. Snoop's brother, they were like best friends, but some reason him and Dog didn't see eye to eye. Crooked Eye, same thing with Dog. So it's like I inherited,
I
the
remember.
people that I got and whatever problems they had. Feel me? And gang banging is like, yeah, well, these the homies, cuz so whatever it is, I'm with whatever they own. That's what gang
Yeah.
banging that taught me, this blinding loyalty to the people you with. So, who I am as a human with who I was developed with by my older homies to be, it all came into what people thought the New West was. And again, I became like, Mike Stroh's Battle Cat's little brother. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that didn't help him. So anything that I was the only person that had no history in the music business. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like the first person I met was Dr. Dre, and he was encouraging me. So it was like I didn't have the same disdain for. I just listened to all of these dudes' records. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I didn't have a personal problem, but everybody that was with me, that were my guys, that were the people that was empowering me, and I was empowering them. They had a bad taste in their mouth from the hierarchy in the business.
Yeah.
And the 7th Street in me, the crib in me, just didn't. I didn't care what the problem was. I wasn't trying to solve problems. If
Right.
this is your problem, this is my problem. Now, that don't mean I'm finna go out and make rap records talking about people, but for sure I'm riding with you, and I don't care what you saying on your verse.
Right.
And if we somewhere, I'm not gonna let niggas just pack you out. You know what I'm saying? Like real story. Like that just ain't gonna happen. Like we're gonna get cracking, because a fist fight ain't never killed nobody. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna kill you, but you ain't finna pack the homie out that's out. So I brought that same mentality with me from the street there, but I
Yeah.
realized I brought something that I didn't need there too, and that was pride. And I didn't need pride. And I brought pride with me from the street. The mentality is great. Like right now that it's focused and channeled, and
Yeah.
like somebody like Dot, like Kendrick, who was my homeboy, like you could see the gang banging mentality in my social media, appearance when it comes to supporting him. It's unapologetic. I don't care. Like
Yeah. I
people
feel you.
forget that I know Drake. People forget I'm like somebody that was encouraging Drake. If you look at my early tweets, I always showed him love. But if you go against my homeboy, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, nigga. And if we
That,
see each other, niggas, whatever y'all want to do, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So,
that's
my
the that,
undivided loyalty to the West. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'm gonna share the MCA good morning, wake your punk ass up. I'm gonna put the exhibit video, I'm gonna put the dog video. So when it's informed, it's powerful. And that's what hip hop really is that cultural stance, that street urban cultural stance done through the arts or the elements. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So naturally, crazy when I got in this, I thought I was hustling it. I was like, yeah, I was trying to buy a job from Mo. You know what I mean? To be a longshoreman, because I could see
Yeah.
the end of my music career. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a job. I had just got a deal for $1.7 million, and I'm trying to buy a job for Mo because I'm like, at the end of the day, you feel me? Like, this is where I'm gonna end up. I never
Yeah.
planned to be in this business no long time. I mean, I
You
felt like
used,
I was getting over it. I
you
didn't
used to
think it
tell
was
me that.
made for people like real ones, like people that really came from the streets until I went to the Bronx, met some brothers from the Spades, met Eric B, met really the New York brothers.
Yeah.
And you know, they were the ones that explained to me, nah, this is made for people that come from the street. This is why it's here. This is really a vessel for you to change your life. Like
Yeah.
I would have never knew gangsters started hip hop. But they make it so West Coast is gangsters, but the Spades is a gang from the Bronx. Bam is a Spade. He's a little Spade. Herc is a little Spade. So it's like, and then Crazy Legs is like, yeah, Glass, I don't know what this dude talking about. We was all little jack boys. We was all kids that used to stick up kids.
Yeah. I
You know what I
remember the
mean?
little Jack
And
boy.
I realized the origin of it were people just like me. It don't matter what happened in the middle. The origin, it was people just like me that came from this life trying to make something of themselves. And again, like that's where that mentality come from. You know what I mean? And I'm able to apply it correctly now. And obviously it yields a level of cultural cachet. You know what I mean? It definitely is polarizing the people. They people be upset, you know what I mean? But the
I
script.
wanna I wanna say something. I know we kind of running out of time, but
All
it's two
good.
things I want to touch on real quickly. Um, Around the time of that New West movement, I kind of looked at it like you was kind of like a bridge, bro, to like a lot of artists and people from different neighborhoods that probably would have never crossed paths, that probably would have never even rocked out with each other. You know what I mean? Like you used to have people on stage, like from bro. I done been at shows that you done did, bro. I mean, it's maybe 50 bloods at the show. You the only Crip there. You know what I mean? I done been in shows where you got enemies all up on the stage, you know what I mean? Things like that. So that's what I mean by like saying like you was kind of like the bridge. You feel me? Like and out of people's respect for you, nothing ever happened. You know what I'm saying? And what I want to say as well is that it's kind of like the same, like that influence that you put, into the culture in that way. It's the same thing that we seeing that's happening with Kendrick right now.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of what you were doing back then is kind of you influence what he's doing today.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
100%. Like, what do you think about like just the whole thing, everything that Kendrick's doing right now, GNX album?
I'm just
You know,
proud.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
same.
And he's a colleague. He's not like, no little kid. He's younger than me, but he's a colleague. Like we came up roughly at the same time, but
Yeah,
I'm just proud. You know what I mean? Like it's dope to watch somebody do what they supposed to do.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Fuck everything else. Fuck the money. Fuck the fame. Do
yeah.
what you supposed to do. This is what hip hop is, and he is nailing that shit to the cross. You know what I'm saying? That shit's amazing. You know what I mean? I called him and I don't know. We was talking the other day. We probably talked for 20 minutes right before I had to hop off. I had to rush him off the phone, but I was so overjoyed at what he's doing. And I think he
Yeah,
could tell how joyous I was about it because this is what we supposed to be doing. We
yeah,
supposed to be representing. We supposed to be protecting this thing. Them New York brothers entrusted this to us. You know what I mean? Like to keep it to where the ghetto has a voice so people don't try to silence us any longer and to watch him protect it and then speak the language and then show support to
yeah,
people who speak the language that don't have the platform. It should yield the greatest things for him, you know what I mean, for being true. So I
yeah,
am overjoyed at the things Dot is doing, way past happy. I'm overjoyed, bro. Like I am ecstatic. I'm over the moon. I'm so proud. I'm so impressed. And I tell him, I'm telling him, I'm like, yo, like you went from competing with the guys that I watch come, that we came in the same era to now you're competing with my favorites.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you went from competing with
That's
being the
that's
number one
crazy, huh?
guy. Yeah, from being
That
competing with the number one guy with, let's say, even though he's not hip hop, but he's a fantastic rapper. And Drake, right? You went from competing with guys like him or J. Cole to me, who was one of the best to ever do it. Like he's Tim Duncan out there. He's nice. You feel me? To showing that you're better than them, right? To that was like, hold up, you trying to chase down America's Most Wanted. You know what I mean? You trying to chase down Doggy Style. You chasing down
Yo, Tim Duncan, bro, is spot.
That's just J. Cole. You probably be like fucking Glasses.
That's spot on,
time,
bro.
but he know. But if you know what Cole is, you know what I mean. You get it.
That's spot on.
So watching Dot start to compete with Scarface, that's impressive. You feel me? And the nonchalantness of it all is like this is second nature. Like he doesn't have to try with this. I think he had to try with Good Kid, Mad City. That's why I say this album is so much better than Good Kid, Mad City. Like I can hear the try in Good Kid, Mad City. I can hear the naturalness come out of this. This is this is like getting up out of bed, walking in the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is nothing. You feel me? He walking it down. I'm like, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit. So I'm uber impressed. I'm impressed that he started his own thing, and then they doing the TDE PG Lang tour, the stadium tour. Like these niggas at the stadiums. You feel
know
me?
what? You know what's crazy about right now? He feels like a new artist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a whole new, like this the first album type. You know what I mean? Like it's such a freshness. Yes, fresh.
I'm impressed. I am. Everything else I could see it coming.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get what you were doing. I get the monster you were feeding. I get your path. But this one was like, this is like so phenomenal and natural that it's like, yeah, you chasing my guys down. Like this record chasing straight out of Compton. Like you chasing some shit. You know what I'm saying?
He's still having moments.
Yeah,
he's still having these moments this late. Like if you think about it, like Dot been around. It's been a minute. Like look, 15 years.
Dot first tape came out in 06, 07?
That was OD.
No. This is way before the end.
Before that?
Yeah, this is before all of that. I'm talking about like C4. K-Dot. Like I'm talking about not Kendrick Lamar. That's all Kendrick Lamar. So I'm talking about K-Dot shit.
OD is when he changed his name to Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
OD, Kendrick Lamar, EP, all that shit.
Like,
that's Kendrick Lamar. I'm talking about K-Dot tapes. You know what I'm saying? So to watch him I'm so impressed. You know what I mean? I'm so joyed. Like I'm overjoyed, like watching J-Rock get the key to the city or get his double platinum. I just be overjoyed watching Q succeed or that shit bring a different joy because it's like these are the people that I was in the trenches with trying to figure it out. And they looking at my career like, yeah, Glasses got it. He got the Bentley, he got the crib, he got this. And I'm like, this ain't nothing. Like, this don't mean nothing. Like, the top look different. Now I'm sure he looking like, oh, I see what Glasses said. This ain't nothing. Because, nigga, you could buy 100. Nigga, you got a fucking Buick that's worth a Bentley now. Yeah. You got a fucking Buick that's worth a Bentley. That is crazy. That's a fucking crazy. Buick worth a Bentley. So, again, it's like, I mean, I'm so proud. Like I'm so proud of that. I love that dude, man. But I'm so impressed. I'm so overjoyed. I'm just, elated at what he's able to do. And I really get what makes him special. You know what I mean? And I'm just happy. Like I'm just genuinely just happy. Like I'm so impressed. Yeah. I'm so impressed. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I'm like, fuck, this little nigga's crazy. I had to tell him because it just fucks me up. Like, wow. And I mean, he's had platinum albums. Yeah. He's had double platinum albums. He's had success.
That's what trips me out. None of it
meant what this means to me.
Right.
I see all that. Yeah, I went and got my CD signed. I got my CD signed. You know what I'm saying? I went to Good Kid, Mad City. I got to sign Good Kid. I got to sign Damn. I got to sign all that. I went and bought all my stuff. I supported my boy, whatever. And I celebrated shit when it's popping. I'm like, that's dope. But this feels special. And it's fucking me up, Con. It's fucking me up, y'all. Fucking me up.
I hear the same thing, bro. Yeah. I remember before Mr. Morale came out and the topic was Kendrick, and he was like, man, I think you spoke about wanting him to do something like a West Coast like type sounding project.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I remember like responded like, man, that ain't happening. Like, you feel me? Like, we know that's not happening.
Yeah.
And then look where we are now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he did exactly that. And it's kind of like the blueprint, you know what I mean, for a lot of younger artists, like they could look at and they could say, you know what, all right, Dot did it. You know what I mean? Like, even though that sound been resonating here for a minute, you feel me? But to see it on such a high level, you feel me, and execute it the way that it was executed, you feel me? Like it brings value to it, to the market now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? From what I hear, like that's what he's about to be on. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a good time for the coast. You
If
feel
you
me?
if you
To
if you do the work, you know the
yeah.
one thing I'm gonna share with you, Con. This is something I realized, and I told you this before, but I figured out a way to express it. Like hip hop artists are elected delegates. We
Okay.
represent a specific territory of
Hmm.
community.
Okay.
Our job is to represent those people at the highest level, to represent their
Hmm.
interests, to represent the things that they find special, to represent the culture of that territory. That you're that elected delegate. And
I
at the
like that.
highest level, when you really want to rise to the greatest point of hip hop lore, is when you make it all lock up. When you represent it,
Hmm.
like calling your podcast or your stream off Prairie. When you go
Yeah.
to the final level and you understand how to represent and you paint the picture for the people, that's what this shit is all about. That's what hip hop is all about.
Hmm.
Being a voice for
Hmm.
that voiceless, and
Hmm.
that's why it's important to me. I don't think that's what people get for Dot. Like, I think Dot has always done a great job of making great records. I think he's always translated our lives to people that weren't from our lives.
Yeah.
But I just wanted it unapologetically once.
Yeah.
I
That
want
was
people to
this.
know the person that I know. Because if I think you're a wonderful motherfucking person, because everybody else is gonna think you are king of the world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I don't just, see it in everybody. I just don't. So I'm
Yeah.
hella impressed, bro. I'm just again, man, it's like that's the thing I figured out about hip hop. We're all elected delegates of said community.
Damn. You broke that
All
down.
elected delegates. I mean, and we supposed to represent.
Yeah. Damn. I ain't
So,
even got
yeah.
nothing else to say after that. That was
Bro,
a great little, you know what I
no,
mean?
it's for real. I just tricked
That
me out. It's like, yeah, I get it. That's what we supposed to do.
that's clean right there, bro.
That's what we supposed to do.
But before we get up out of here, bro, um, I gotta ask you, what you think about this whole Jay-Z
Nah,
situation?
I don't think about it at all, man. Really, bro.
Same.
I'm so offended. You know, look, nothing's
Yeah.
impossible with a human.
Right.
Human beings have done something, but I just find it really weird that everybody is hip hop successes. It's all
Mm.
hip hop successes. They're the rapists. It's like that shit. It's like, bro, stop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And again, I think this is what happens when we didn't stand up for R. Kelly. R. Kelly should be in
Mm.
prison for 7 to 12 years.
Yeah.
Child pornography on a federal level is when you sleep with somebody under the age of 16 and you film it. The girl was 15. They had it on tape. That carries 7 years. You know what I mean? It was a couple other things that should have probably got around. Like I said, it should be around 8 to 12 years. That's what R. Kelly
Yeah.
should be in prison for. When you allow people to charge him with a RICO, it's one person. When you
Yeah,
allow
that's
him to
crazy.
charge him with a racist federal act like the Mann Act, they charged Jack Johnson with that, like the 18s, 1900s, early. I mean,
Yeah.
when you allow people to mistreat people because you feel like socially they're so frowned upon, which this is all an overrated thing. Like it should be against the law, and I agree with society stance. But again, when you allow people to mistreat people, they're going to keep mistreating people. So it's no difference
Yeah.
that they did it to Diddy. Diddy, whose party was considered to be the pinnacle of success. Everybody knew Diddy party wild.
Yeah.
I've been to Diddy party. You know Diddy party wild. But most people are wild and they want to party like that. But then again, to take advantage of human beings' false sense of looking like they're a good person publicly because of social media, now you're charging another black man with the racketeering act? Why is he not charged with some kind of federal assault? Okay, you want to get him because he assaulted Cassie. We're mad at R. Kelly because he slept with girls that were 14 or 15. Cool. But let's make sure we make these people prosecute us fairly.
Right.
Because they're not going to do that to their people. They finna let Lyle and Eric out right now, and they blew their mother's head off. Who couldn't have molested them?
Mm-hmm.
Blew their head off, went outside, loaded the shotgun, came back, and put bullets in and put slugs in her head. So even if you want to believe, and it's possible that the dad was touching them and they blew their head off, got it. Still against the law, you still got to go to jail, fine. But the mom didn't touch him. They shot her up, went back outside, got more bullets, and put bullets in her head with a gauge. And they about to let them out because what they do with media. But meanwhile, they're charging Diddy, they charging R. Kelly, the first 2 men in history, with racketeering charges when that's an organization charge. Nobody's saying nothing. Nobody is being fair because we're so outraged of, oh, R. Kelly married Aaliyah. Knowing your grandmother married your fucking grandmother at the same age. It should be against the law, but let's not be silly. Let's put people in fair treatment. Let's not, oh, I'm so fake outraged. Oh my God, they deserve 90 million years. Well, then why they ain't giving their people 90 million years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What Diddy? Okay, Diddy buy prostitutes. He's the John Gotti of buying pussy. Sure, okay. He's not John Gotti. He's not a threat to public society. Oh, we need to keep him locked up. For what? You scared he gonna throw a party and lube people up? The fuck you locking him? Like, why are y'all acting like you can't give this nigga bail? Again, and now I told him if we didn't stand up for fair treatment, these people, okay, if they committed crimes, hey, let's put them in jail for their crimes. That's how society works. Y'all do y'all thing, but let it be fair. And I kept telling them they're gonna keep doing it. And this is about business. Remember, none of this stuff is happening criminally. It started civilly. Every time it starts civilly. Right. But then all it takes is one federal person to decide they want to pursue that. And feds, you don't have to prove a crime. Yeah. Feds are a lot of conspiracy crimes, racketeering, other people saying you did this. It's not about, hey, I can catch you and prove you did a crime. The federal shit is different. So this type of stuff happening to somebody like Jay-Z as important is crazy, but it's what's going to keep happening. People are getting out of these clauses, you know, they got them clauses for them businesses where you violate morality. Like it's a lot of stuff happening that people are not looking at. You know what I'm saying? And the civil stuff can turn federal at the snap of a finger. And then people call themselves being done with somebody. So, because he got into it with Cassie, he still don't deserve the rest of his life in prison. That's his lady. Yeah. That's his lady. He should be in fighting a regular, spousal abuse case, a federal assault case, whatever for that.
What's old boy from UFC who just fired on his girl? Yeah. Dana White just fired on this girl in the club on camera. We talked about it for a couple hours and then that was it. Like,
because man, but I kept saying this is going to happen. If you don't demand fair treatment for even who you think is the worst in Black society, they're going to do it to the best of them.
What you think is going to happen with Drake?
I mean, I don't know. You keep asking. I know for sure you better stop playing with these people. Drake, listen, Drake is very much, we could talk about him not being hip hop. Yeah, we could talk about the homie Dot. But one thing you don't want to do is play with nobody with no bunch of money. You don't got that kind of money. You do not put UMG, Spotify, and iHeart against the wall.
That's a lot of jobs.
What do you think?
I look at it like this, bro. Like that's everybody all the companies that UMG owns in jeopardy, all the the sister brother companies to them, all the people that's employed. You think they finna just let you just come in here?
The emotion, and that's why I know it's an emotional ploy. Like,
right,
let these people go, bro. Just get back to making your tunes, bro. You're not fighting a good fight. It's disingenuous because if it was, it'd be about your own contract. It wouldn't be about a record somebody else made. Grow up here.
Right.
Pick your nuts up, bro. Go back in the studio, make some stuff for the people that love you. Keep it going, but don't fuck your life up. You know what I mean? Because I like in my mind, I don't dislike that dude. I want the best for him or anybody else. But you play with some of these people, and you making these allegations and shit, and there's other people encouraging you, they gonna let you die by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They are not. They're gonna keep going. They're gonna make more content about you when it's over.
You think it's a ploy to get a settlement
No,
around a number that he was already asking?
no, because that number he was asking is not true. The number they said he got ain't true. That nigga, they're not giving nobody 400 million. That shit cap. It's about $40 million. If you get 10 million an album, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, if we start telling the truth look a lot different than the advertised numbers on marketing as far as most entertainment goes. But trust me, if somebody was giving him that kind of money, he would not be suing them.
That's what I was right.
Nobody.
You feel me?
But again, some of this stuff we live. Great storytelling caters to what the imagination of people think the world is.
Okay.
I got to get up out of here though. Still is on my ass.
All right, bro.
I love you.
Appreciate you.
Hold on. We hopping off right now. Still, we just ended the thing. You text me the link.
No, we go talk a regular phone call, bro.
Okay, call right now. I love you, Con. I'm on you, Brody.
All right, Brody. Appreciate you, man. Happy birthday again.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. That's my guy, Glasses Malone, man. It's a lot more I wanted to get into. You feel me? But I will have him back soon. Appreciate y'all checking out. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? It was another episode of We Off Prairie. Until we meet again.